and welcome back to Mind and Seek. What we'll do is we'll jump right into the ego. Let's go back thousands of years when we had to live in a harsher, more unrefined environment and do our very best to survive the circumstances. Within these harsh environments, our naturally developed fight or flight mechanisms kicked in for our survival, and what I like to refer to as the ego. Because the ego has been instilled in us primarily to keep us alive, it goes to extreme measures to make sure that our physical, mental, and emotional well-being is vital. Thousands of years ago, the ego was very essential for our well-being. However, when the ego trickles into our everyday lives, that's where it causes major havoc. Let's get one thing clear. We cannot fully extinguish the ego. The goal here is not to get rid of it, but learn how to control its fearful tactics in our everyday lives and to quiet it. And what I like to call the ego is the bruised shadow that follows you within. And generally, the ego, the heart, and the intuition do not align. They go in opposing directions. So when our heart and intuition tell us to do one thing, usually the ego will tell you to do the complete opposite for its own survival. And I want to clarify that our heart and intuition are directly connected to the source. And when I say source, I mean that creative universal force. However, the ego is not the portal to our higher selves. The ego thrives on comfort. So the last thing it wants to do is go out of its way to give you any sort of progression or growth. To give you a perfect example would be, for instance, if you had to say a speech in front of hundreds or thousands of people, or if you had to perform in front of a large audience, your heart and intuition will always tell you that you're confident, that you're ready, that you're smart enough, that you're good enough. However, your ego would tell you that you're not prepared, you're going to make a fool out of yourself, and that you're not confident enough. We are all unfortunately used to this internal chaos, and most of us experience this within our daily lives. However, we could blame the ego for this kind of dysfunction in our lives. And because we are mostly not living in a state of awareness, we are not always aware of the ego's behavior and the damage that it creates in our lives. When we allow, the ego will feed your mind the most degrading thoughts and ideas about yourself, telling you that you're not pretty enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're not capable enough, which is the furthest thing from the truth of who you really are. And with that said, I will repeat again, the goal here is not to completely get rid of the ego. The goal is to have it in the back seat, to have a better control of it, to quiet it, and shed more awareness on it so we live in a more peaceful state of existence. And with that said, I'll wrap up this subject. In my next video, we'll go right into the mind. Thanks again for watching.